Hey guys, Fox here, and today we're going to be talking about the huge announcement made today on ESPN's College Game Day of the 8 teams that will be part of the UFL, the United Football League. If you're new here, make sure you're subscribed and hit the bell so you'll be able to keep up with all the news regarding the USFL XFL merger or the UFL. Now, speaking of the UFL, yesterday the announcement was made official on Fox as Dwayne Johnson and Danny Garcia announced the UFL, the United Football League. And today on College Game Day, they announced what 8 teams have survived the merger. So yes, the first thing is that sadly only 8 teams did survive. The rumors ended up being true, which naturally does hurt. We're losing 50% of the teams that played last year. But what are the teams that survived? In the XFL's conference, it's the four we pretty much always expected. The St. Louis Battlehawks, DC Defenders, San Antonio Brahmas, and the Arlington Renegades. The USFL is where it gets a bit weird. Now, 3 of the teams are not surprising at all. The Michigan Panthers, the Memphis Showboats, and the Birmingham Stallions. The last is the Houston Roughnecks. That's where it gets controversial. It's a big issue that I've had an issue with as well. Essentially, both leagues had a Houston team. Only the Roughnecks actually played in Houston, but this is supposed to be a 50-50 merger. And so, what to do with Houston? Well, instead of just keeping the Roughnecks, which I have always been in favor of, they decided to keep the Gamblers, but rebrand them to the Roughnecks. Does that make no sense at all? You're correct. It makes no sense, but that's what they're doing. Now, a lot of it does have to be deal with the USFLPA, pretty much forcing the USFL to have a X amount of players survive or 4 teams. It's really weird. A lot of people really hate this change, and I'm on board with that too. I think it would have been much better just keep the Houston Roughnecks or just keep a different USFL team as the 4th one. But I digress. It is what it is. Now, the other thing we now know is the coaches. Now, we did hear about one of the big coaching changes, but we didn't actually know about all 8, and there were rumors of more coaches leaving. The 4 coaches in the XFL, 3 of them are the same. The DC Defenders will have Reggie Barlow return. The Renegades will have Bob Stoops return, and then we will have Anthony Becht return for the St. Louis Battlehawks. And the big change, Hines Ward is out as Brahmas head coach. In comes Wade Phillips, formerly of the Roughnecks. Again, really weird. So Wade Phillips is back, and he is back with the Brahmas. For the USFL side of things, there was a huge rumor regarding Mike Nolan, whether he was going to come back or not. I was on the minority that truly does love him as a head coach, and I was hoping he'd stay. He's staying. He is going to be the Michigan Panthers head coach. Skip Holtz did get a job in college, but said he will be coming back to the USFL. He is coming back. He is back for the Stallions. And then for the Roughnecks, Curtis Johnson, who was the Gamblers coach, is coming back. He was a guy that really shocked me last year. I had almost no faith he was going to be a great coach, and he proved to be really good. He was excellent at making his wide receivers great, and he was able to make Gamblers a competitive team. And then the last one, who got the Showboats job? Was it Mike Riley? Was it John DeFilippo? Or was it Ray Horton? Well, it was DeFilippo. DeFilippo was able to come in to a really good Breakers team and make the Breakers even better than they were in year 1, and he got the job in Memphis. So I'm expecting a lot to change, especially with the Brahmas and Showboats. We're going to see a lot of overlap, I'm assuming, of former Roughnecks going to the Brahmas, same with former Breakers going to the Showboats, but we'll see. Now, overall, the one thing I want to talk about in the announcement is the fact that it was kind of botched a little bit. The official article came out like 5 minutes before Dwayne and Danny actually announced it. But I will say this. I've been very critical of especially Dwayne, but also Danny in regards to how they've been overall publicizing for the XFL, I guess we'll call it. But I will say they did a good job today. Pat McAfee basically tried to act like the XFL was the way, way, way better league, including saying false stats like how the XFL was way better getting players to the NFL, which not being, in favor objectively is not true. But I gotta give him credit. Dwayne and Danny did a really good job responding to that. They didn't really seem to agree with him at all. They didn't, go like, oh yeah, we agree. They were very calm, and they immediately went back to saying that it is a 50-50 merger. Gotta give credit where credit is due. I really respect what The Rock and Danny did in response to McAfee. And the one time they did go XFL side made sense in regards to the Birmingham Stallions versus Renegades when McAfee said, bring it back home, clearly to the XFL. That I do get. But their response to McAfee saying about how much better the XFL was really gives me some actual, and I mean legitimate, thought that, hey, they could actually learn to do better than they did last year instead of making the league about themselves, which is what Dwayne did especially last year. I think that's a very good thing. It shows a lot of development in how they've been running the league. Got to give them credit. So, as I said before, make sure you're subscribed and hit the bell. You'll be notified as soon as I upload any videos regarding the merger. As there's still a lot to come out that we know of, the dispersal draft is supposed to be on Friday this week. We'll probably find out more details soon. I do have at least one video coming up before that. And as always, be on the lookout for anything new and have a great night.